Welcome to Sports Talk with three stupid guys. All four stupid guys are here. How's it going, guys?
It's going pretty good.
Yes.
So we're back for Sports Talk for a week. Probably come back again for the draft and stuff like that. Anything else you guys want to talk about sports? Russ, do you got anything in hockey going on? Your Canadians going to make a push for the playoffs?
They are not.
They're not.
They're making a push for the first draft pick.
First draft pick. So a team that started out, what, like 15-3, something like that?
18-4-1.
18-4-1 is not going to make the playoffs. So is that a crushing defeat for you? Is it just something you're like going, man, that just is terrible?
Well, no, because you know what? Like, to everybody in the hockey world, they lost the best player in the world, and that's their goalie, and that's the way it goes.
Well, maybe you need Bill Belichick as a coach because he loses players all the time and still is successful.
True.
But we also had not to keep calling you out, Russ, but we had in the football world, the Kansas City Chiefs were pulled a Patriot, and they were fined, and they lost two draft choices, right? A third and a sixth-round pick. Is that right?
Yeah, they did. You know, they're all in the same year, so that's okay.
But was it worth the player they were tampering with? Was it worth it? Was it Jeremy Maclin, right?
Yeah, it was Maclin. I mean, he was hurt quite a bit, but I don't. He's just good friends with Andy Reid. Things like that happen.
Okay.
So
you're okay with it.
Louisville recruits players by getting stripper parties. I mean, it happens all over the place.
Stripper would be a nice term for their parties.
Well, now did Rick Pitino know? That's what they're asking. Did Rick Pitino know?
He can't. It's
Rick Pitino has his own history with women on restaurant floors.
Yeah. So let's go around the floor. Russ, did he know?
I say he had to know. It's the same thing with Joe Paterno. They have to know. They know everything that's going on. I mean, they know if these kids are in class. They know they know what shoe size these kids are. I mean, they know.
Mike?
Definitely.
College
basketball is dirty. Dirty.
It is.
And Matt?
I think they knew. I don't.
And if he knew, should he be fired? If they could prove that he knew, should he be fired?
Yeah. He should. I mean,
only if there's proof, and it has to be something more than just a broken phone. So.
Did you ever watch the movie The Program?
That's with James Caan?
Yeah.
I did.
I mean, that stuff. I mean, they just didn't make that movie for no reason. I mean, stuff like that goes on. So, of course.
All right. Anything else going in sports you guys want to talk about? NBA, baseball's coming around the corner. Spring training. Padres are off to a terrible start. I'm not really holding out hopes for the Padres this year.
How many spring training games have they played? Like 2 games?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Last season, I had so much hope and optimism. They were going out and getting players I actually had heard of. And it cracks me up. I was having an argument with someone on the Padre message board. He kept saying, the Padres need to admit they're in rebuilding mode. I go, what? It's not a secret. What don't you know? When you trade top-name players for minor leaguers, you're rebuilding.
Well,
they have to admit it. I go, dude, you're a lost cause.
You can root for Kennedy on the Royals this year.
Yeah, I like Kennedy. I have no problem with that.
Hey, at least you don't have to go through all season wondering if they're going to go to L.A. They'll be in San Diego.
Yeah, that's true. Chargers are still worried about it. Chargers did announce that they want to build a downtown stadium, and that they will put the money. They will pay for the stadium itself, all the infrastructure, the land. Well, they didn't say that.
Well, that's kind of hopeful, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that kind of what you've been pushing for, like as a downtown stadium?
Yeah, I've been pushing for it because, well, I'm not paying for it, so either way.
Pay for it, California.
If I was in San Diego, I would vote for it.
It will be built. Yes. It will be built on the blood of the cosplayers at Comic-Con.
There you go. Why not? Charge an extra $20, they'll still do it. Any free agency signings for your team? I know, Mike, you guys signed Mario Williams.
Old Mario.
Old Mario, yeah, old Mario, yeah.
Yeah, we seem
And
to win the big free agent prize, the big name every year.
Right,
Denver matched the C.J. Anderson
right.
deal.
But they lost Brock Osweiler. Good,
Yep.
bad. I thought Houston overpaid for him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
that
know what they
seems-
see in. I don't know what they see in him.
Well, he's not very good with a pizza. I know that. So I
But-
just didn't impress
And
me.
apparently with winning too, right?
Is Brock
Yeah.
Osweiler? Is he from the Midwest?
He must be.
You know, the crazy thing is Denver wins the Super Bowl, and if the season was to start tomorrow, Mark Sanchez is their starting quarterback.
But with their defense, you can win with Mark Sanchez.
Hey, they won with Peyton Manning.
They did. I mean, at this point in their careers, I think Mark Sanchez is the better quarterback. With their defense, they didn't score a lot of points last season.
I don't know.
If the Chargers had Denver's defense and your quarterback was Mark Sanchez, would you feel comfortable going into next season?
If they had Denver's defense from
Yeah.
last season,
Yeah.
yes. Because I watched Denver all last season. They didn't win because of Brock Osweiler or Peyton Manning. They won because their defense scored points and they kept the other team out of the end zone. It's the only reason they won the Super Bowl. Not taking anything away from the team, and the goal is to win the Super Bowl, but that's the only reason they won.
You think that's the only reason that Peyton Manning hesitated to perhaps retire?
Yeah, I mean,
Like he was like,
yeah, why not?
Well, that wasn't my best game. Like I'd like to come back and play one more good one.
But why not come back? I think if they could have got him back for less than $19 million, maybe he comes back. In fact, there was somebody.
We kind of briefly talked about this on the Walking Dead podcast, which I know some of our sports fans probably don't tune into, and we have some Walking Dead fans that don't tune into sports talk, so we kind of keep them somewhat separated. But we did talk about the retirement a little briefly there, and of course he retires. I mean, he has to have a hip surgery, right? Like we kind of laughed about it. But
eventually, he's gonna have hip surgery.
But Jack, you also kind of brought up that whole thing, like for the love of the game, like you've been playing this game this whole time,
Since he was probably 5 years old.
Having him as a quarterback is like having a second coach on the field.
Exactly.
I mean,
he's been playing this game since he was putting his butt on women in the locker room.
Well, and then there's that scandal that they want to avoid, right?
Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever proven. Like, I don't think we have any butt cheek implantations on anybody's face or anything. So,
well,
right.
it's true.
It does leave a stain on his resume.
Hey, Mike, you're on a roll tonight on both podcasts. You're a lot more enthusiastic when you're.
I have much more energy when I slept the previous night.
Well, you're also going to South by Southwest, so that's got.
So I'm very excited. I'm full of energy.
Yeah.
Full of energy. But no, there was it Stephen A. Smith that said that the Broncos should beg him to come back because right now.
I can see John Elway getting on his hands and knees begging somebody to come back to his team.
Oh yeah.
That's a different kind of stain.
Wouldn't that be Monica Lewinsky's job? Too soon. No, I just like I said, if I was, I like I said, would I want Mark Sanchez as my quarterback? No, but with Denver's defense, if they can, but they've lost a couple players. It depends on who, how their defense plays. But Von Miller is an outstanding player, but we'll see.
There's still a quarterback out there.
What quarterback?
I just don't. I think you have.
He won a playoff game for them a couple years ago.
Oh, Tebow.
Tim Tebow, the Savior, is coming to rescue the Broncos.
I just think you have to have somebody back there a little bit better than Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez took two teams to the AFC Championship game. Back to back.
And that is the only thing that is going to be of noteworthy on his resume when he retires.
But it was a similar team. The Jets were loaded with defense, and they won because of their defense. And again, that's the only reason Denver won. Anything else going on? We have Johnny Manziel got kicked off the Browns, and Dallas said we're not going to take a look at him until he gets his personal life straightened out.
So for Jerry Jones, that's like what, a month?
Yeah,
a week.
I was going to say a couple days.
That's like a love letter. Like, I'm actually thinking about it.
Jerry Jones is going to say, I looked into Johnny Manziel's eyes, and they were only half glazed over. I said he's changed his life over. He's turned his life around.
He didn't pull any guns on any women like the defense lineman for them.
No. But
it's a complete Ace Ventura kind of thing. Like, so you're saying there's a chance? Like, you didn't say no. There's a chance.
And the Browns fans are pretty upset because they've let all their players go, all their good players go. What are they doing there? Anybody know?
No idea.
They're talking about the rumor that Kaepernick could go to Denver. Said Kaepernick's worth a 4th-round pick. Rumor is Cleveland thinks Kaepernick's worth a 3rd-round pick. I don't think he's going to stay. He's not staying with Frisco.
Right.
So
no, but I don't think he's worth that much.
Well, does he go to the Browns or does he go to Denver?
Well, if I was him and I had that defense in front of me, I'd go to Denver. I mean,
right.
that's a
Who
ticket
wants to
right
go
there.
to Cleveland? We've talked about it. Cleveland, Washington, D.C., these are cities and teams where quarterbacks go to die.
They do.
They're a black hole of sports energy. Just saying.
Oh, and also Todd in the chat wanted to bring up a topic: the Goose Gossage versus Brian Harper little debate going on.
I didn't hear that. What was it? What was
Yeah. Yeah, Goose got bit. Ryan Harper said that baseball is boring basically now, and that all these young guys are they're more enthusiastic, and all the antics they're doing needs to it's more exciting for the game. And Goose Gossage is basically like you need to keep your mouth shut. Like baseball is still traditional.
So Bryce Harper said baseball's boring.
Yeah.
Now this is the same Bryce Harper that wants a $400 million contract.
Pretty much.
Now, if you were set to get a $400 million contract, shouldn't you just keep your mouth shut and take the $400 million?
And then he also called out Batista for Toronto, saying how he's a showboat and how all Spanish people are like that, all Spanish baseball players.
He actually said that?
Yeah, Goose Gossage, yeah.
Oh, Gossage said that.
Yeah.
So Gossage said that baseball's too
showboaty. And they should wear bigger mustaches and be more cursing more like he did back in the 60s.
Well, and they should
it was the 70s, 80s.
Or like Mike on our podcast, like
they should get more
cursing.
They should get more baseball players from the Midwest, rough and tumble.
Well, to be fair, Gossage
build a wall.
One thing about Gossage is he's always been opinionated. He's never been afraid to say anything because he got upset when he was with the Padres because Joan Kroc got really. She didn't want alcohol and she didn't want drugs and baseball. She was very anti because they didn't sign Tim Raines. Tim Raines wanted to come to the Padres, but they wouldn't sign him because he had a cocaine problem there for a while, and he would have been the missing piece that might have pushed the Padres over the top. But she wouldn't sign him, and then she banned beer in the clubhouse. And then Goose Gossage says she's worried about beer when her hamburgers, because her husband was Ray Kroc, who owned McDonald's. She's worried about beer when her hamburgers are killing millions of people every year, something to that effect, when he was still playing for the team. So he got fined, and he had to apologize. But he also, when they went to the World Series, Joan Kroc arrived in this very expensive dress. It was a pool party, and he took and grabbed Joan Kroc and jumped in the pool with her. So Goose is kind of a character, but you got to watch what you say sometimes. But you said
yeah, Matt.
What was that about?
Oh, the Midwest comments.
I'm reading the comments here, and Ed put the Gooses on the loose, and then I think it was Todd that. Yeah, apparently it has nothing to do with OJ, or the knife that they found, which is somewhat sports related, kind of. I don't know. We could turn this into a sports crime show. I hear those are really popular. Anyway, Todd also mentions no, Goose called out Batista and some other people. No sweeping racial comments, but he got close.
You got close. Okay, the goose was smart enough to stop. I'll tell you this much: is I've said 1,000 times that Goose Gossage is because as a you sit there and think I could hit that guy. I would never even go up to bat against Goose Gossage. He scared the crap out of me. I mean, I can remember sitting when we used to sit. Dell and I would sit by the Padre bullpen, and he'd get up to warm up. We'd sit there and watch him pitch, and he was just a scary, insane-looking dude with that, that mustache, Fu Manchu mustache, and the way he threw like. If Google World Series Goose Gossage hits Ron Say in the head when he played for the Dodgers, he just nails. I remember watching the game, thought he killed Ron Say. He just nails off his head. Did you see it, Russ?
Yeah, I actually remember that. I was going to say that he wasn't afraid to throw at you if you were standing too close to that plate.
No, he was old school.
Like he had no regard.
Anyway, anything else going sports? Anything else you guys want to talk about? Golf? Anything? We're sports talk we talk about it all. Mike, anything you want to bring up?
Yeah, I brought up the last topic, so
Okay.
somebody else's turn.
Matt, how the Colts doing?
I brought up OJ's knife that they found. Isn't that enough, right?
Okay, and Russ?
No, we got hockey covered. We're good to go.
Okay.
That's it. We'll see you guys next month.
All right, so we're going to talk about we're going to do our brackets of the NCAA tournament. You probably want to go and not pick what we're choosing. And Matt has to go let the dog in.
Who let the dogs out?
No, he's letting him in. Who let the dog in? Matt did. Who let the dog in? All right, so we're on the ESPN board here. You can go to Tournament Challenge. The group name is 3. The number 3, Stupid Guys. The password is J and Jack, lowercase. So anyone can join.
And there's a prize. So tell all your friends.
Tell all your friends.
There's a prize.
As of now, we're hoping for $20. We're all going to chip in $5. Winner, we will send you $20 cash.
Matt was just searching around his house for $20. That's weird to say.
Why is it all coming out of me now? We were all chipping in.
It's hey Matt, look on top of the fridge. It's in the can that's marked Jack in the Box Fund.
It was in the back corner.
That's what we should.
It was actually in the kill room.
We should send a $20 gift certificate. $20 gift certificate from Jack in the Box.
What if they don't live near Jack in the Box?
Yeah, I'm not driving 40 hours to go to Jack in the Box.
You make the trip. You can order it online. We can order the.
Hey, Mike, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can drive out to the Midwest, and you can go to Jack in the Box.
I'll be right near Jack in the Box this weekend, but...
You're going to Texas, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
But I'll eat much better food than that.
That's kind of Midwest-ish.
Shots fired.
I'm working on that sponsorship for Jack in the Box. They're not helping, Mike.
Let's get Chipotle instead.
Chipotle. All right, we're going to start with the South region. And
man, I don't want to spoil my picks here. Especially since I don't know any of the teams that are in the brackets.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll read them off as we go along. I just want to say that as a bitter San Diego State fan, San Diego State won their conference. Well, let's talk about this real quick.
Instead of doing picks, sounds better.
Yeah, okay, you have the NCAA tournament. You win your conference, which I think is harder than winning your conference tournament. But yet, if you lose the tournament, your conference, you're not automatic. If you win the conference tournament, you get an automatic bid. And we know why they do this, because it's worth so much money. These tournaments make these 3-day tournaments, 4-day tournaments make a ton of money for the conference, right?
Yeah.
But San Diego State won their conference by 3 games. They had 2 players. I'm not making excuses. They had 2 players that weren't. Their 2 best players were sick. They lose the tournament by 5 points, and then they would have been a 10th or 11th seed in the tournament, NCAA tournament, if they won. They lose. They're not even in the 68. How is that possible? You know why? Because you have all those automatic bids. There's
the man. The man's just trying to keep you down, Jack.
Well, there's talk that people want to do is they want to take whoever wins the conference, the regular season conference. You don't play in the tournament. You're in, and that they play the tournament, and if the team that wins the tournament is worthy of going, they can go. Then the thing can say, okay, yeah, we want to send them to the tournament, or they could be chosen from the tournament. It would help their resume. Fair, not fair?
Quick question.
Yeah,
This-
I think if you're gonna win or be in the NCAA tournament, it should be just like the same format as the conference tournament where you play back to back to back to keep going on. So I think they should keep playing it.
You think keep playing the way it is?
Yep.
So even if a team is 13 and 18, but it gets hot during the tournament and wins, they get to go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And teams,
I mean,
teams,
they
and
won
teams
they won their tournament. They won their
so a
tournament.
team that wins 3 games, it just gets hot and wins 3 games, but it's crappy the whole season, and it's not going to have any chance at all going anywhere in the tournament. They go, and the team that was 25 and 6 doesn't get to go.
Yeah, but I mean, the team that's 25 and 6 should have beat them.
But sometimes it happens. Some guy, your best player turns an ankle.
I think just keep it as confusing as you can.
Right,
and
but
just,
if your
do
best
it.
players
It's the old way.
players are hurt, then you don't deserve to be in the big tournament either.
Well, let's say it's just that day. Maybe they were sick that day. Maybe they had an off night.
Yeah,
I don't think
they had
You
an
know,
off night. They were
how many-
sick. Maybe they shouldn't be in the
it's the
Super Bowl
same-
or something.
It's the same thing as the NCAA tournament, though. How many times has the true number 1 seed for the whole tournament actually won the whole tournament? It happens.
But usually a team that wins the
I think it was
wins
last
the whole-
year.
Usually a team that wins the whole thing, the
no,
tournament.
Kentucky was the number 1 last year, and
Yeah.
Duke won the tournament.
Usually a team
Well-
that wins the NCAA championship deserves to be in the tournament. What I'm
Well,
saying is a team,
they're usually
you take a crappy team that finished 9th in their conference, was terrible all season long, but wins 3 games.
Like the New York Giants when they beat the New England Patriots when they were 18 and 0.
Exactly.
So Jack
Yeah, well,
Jack
I
would
mean,
just
you still-
awarded
you
the
still
Super
gotta
Bowl
play
to
the
the
game
Patriots.
to win.
But no, they won the regular. They made the playoffs in the
The
regular season.
Patriots, they were 18 and 0.
No, but again, the Giants didn't win some tournament. They won.
They won a 2-game tournament to get there.
But they won by the rules. They made the playoffs, and they won the Super Bowl. You're not to tell me. What I'm saying is the team that's 13 and 18 is not going to win the NCAA championship.
They're not, but
They don't belong there. That's what I'm saying. They don't belong there.
Well, of course they do. They belong there because they won the season-ending tournament.
We're done. So I disagree 100%. I don't think a team, if you don't have a 500 record, I'll say this in going to Mike's comment. If you're not a 500 team in football, you shouldn't make the playoffs. Any sport, if you're not 500, you shouldn't be in the playoffs.
No, but it happens.
I get it happens, but I'm saying it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I can see it from that point that it shouldn't.
you see at that point. Anyway, let's get to these picks. It's already 12:30 at night. We got first up in the South Division. We have Kansas versus Austin Peay.
Are we going in order like we do football?
We're going to rotate this. We'll start with.
We're gonna pick 35 games right now.
Be fun. We got Matt first.
Oh my
Matt,
God.
Mike.
Mike didn't expect this. He's
Didn't
like,
expect this?
what?
It'll go fast.
We gotta keep it secret. We don't want to spoil it. There's money on the line.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Matt,
don't
you're first.
pick against me.
Versus Austin Peay.
Okay, Kansas.
Mike,
Favorite.
Kansas. Russ,
You don't have to ask that. You should know.
Kansas. Sweeping Kansas. Next up is Colorado versus UConn.
Who's up? I'll
Uh,
go. I'll go. I don't care.
Okay.
Connecticut.
Okay, UConn. Matt.
That's exactly who I picked. I picked
UConn.
Connecticut.
Mike.
Favorite.
Okay, so you're going with Colorado. I'm also going with Colorado. Next up is Maryland versus South Dakota State. Some would say SDSU, which was not San Diego State.
I'm taking Maryland.
Okay, Matt.
Maryland.
Mike.
Favorite.
Which is Maryland. I'm also going Maryland clean sweep. Next up, we have Cal versus Hawaii. I will go with Hawaii with the upset. Matt.
Ooh. Cal.
Cal. And just to point out that Cal's the 4th seed. San Diego State beat Cal. Russ
I'm taking Cal.
and Mike.
Since you said Cal's favorite, I'm going to go Cal.
All right. Good strategy there, Mike. Let's see. Next up is Arizona versus Wichita State. Russ.
Arizona for Corey.
Okay. I will also go with Arizona. Matt.
Arizona for Obama.
Not for Corey, though. Arizona for
Not for
Obama.
Corey.
Okay. And then Mike, you're going with Arizona?
Sure, are they the favorite?
Yes. Next up is Miami versus Buffalo.
Buffalo. No,
Uh,
I'm not taking Buffalo.
I'm
I'm
taking
taking Miami.
Hurricane.
I'm taking the Hurricanes. Mike.
Favorite.
Favorite. And Matt.
Miami. Hurricanes.
Next up, Iowa versus Temple. I'm going with
Hawkeyes.
Iowa. Russ is going Iowa.
I'm going Temple.
Temple. You're going with Bill
Sure.
Cosby's college,
He's
okay?
going with Bill Cosby. Oh, boy.
Well, we're gonna
Whoa,
put some
whoa.
drugs in there. I was gonna have some Jello pudding, and then they're gonna be asleep, and we're just gonna go all over them. So, so you're going with Temple. Mike, you're going with Iowa. Since
I'm
they're
still
favorite?
sticking with Temple.
Yep.
Next up is Villanova versus UNC Asheville. Villanova.
Nova.
Nova.
And Mike's going Nova.
Clean
Next
sweep.
up, we have Kansas versus Colorado. I have Kansas. Mike,
Kansas.
Russ,
KU, baby.
and Matt.
Kansas.
Okay, next up is Maryland versus Hawaii. I have Maryland.
I have Maryland over Cal.
I have Cal over Maryland.
Oh, that's not going to work because we have the different switches, right? Maybe we should just go Final Four picks because I forgot this isn't going to work.
No, just do your bracket. You do your
Yeah, that's what I'm
bracket.
doing.
Everyone else
Okay.
do
I'm doing
theirs.
Cal over
Okay,
Maryland.
I have Arizona versus University of Miami, and I picked University of Miami.
I took Miami.
Yeah, Mike, you're upset because I skipped you, aren't you?
I cannot believe we were doing this.
I said
We've done it before, haven't we?
I said we're in the text. It says we're going to fill out our brackets.
I'm going to go look at the text right now.
Okay, not the text. It was a Twitter page.
Facebook? Facebook, you better not be Facebook.
No, on the Twitter. Well,
know,
yeah, you did put it on the Facebook.
I
Yeah.
didn't have enough on Twitter, so it was the Facebook page.
Yeah, there you go, because I'm not on Facebook.
Well, get on Facebook. Russ is
No.
on Facebook. All right, and Matt, you're going with?
I'm going with Miami
Miami.
over Arizona.
And Mike, it doesn't matter. It's
Sure.
his favorite. Okay.
Whatever.
Next up is Iowa versus Villanova. I took Iowa. I took the Hawkeyes because they're up from the Jello pudding.
I took Nova over Iowa.
Okay, and Matt.
Nova over Temple. So
Okay. Next we have Kansas versus Maryland. I have Kansas beating Maryland.
I have Kansas over Maryland, and I'll speed this up, and I have Nova over Miami.
I have Iowa over
Huh.
Miami.
okay.
And Matt, you
Mike?
have. Mike's
Oh,
just
I
gonna
have
do-
Kansas over Cal, and I have Nova over Miami.
Okay.
So
And going to
so
the
I have
Final
number
Four,
one, number two.
I have Kansas in this bracket going to the Final Four. Mike, you cool with that because it's a favorite?
Sure, whatever.
Okay. Russ, you're obviously Kansas.
Yep.
And Matt.
I also picked Kansas as well. Yep.
I just love hearing all you guys say Kansas.
Okay. And the East, we have UNC versus Florida. Is it Florida International?
No, Florida Gulf Coast.
Florida Gulf Coast University, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. They're losing.
just happy to be
UNC. Clean sweep.
Yep.
Clean
next-
sweep on the UNC.
Next up, USC versus Providence. I took Providence.
Always take Providence, yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking
They
Providence.
got hooded monks as their mascot. I mean, what's not cool about that?
Next up, we have Indiana versus Chattanooga. I took Indiana.
Indiana.
Hoosiers!
If you guys are watching this live, I think Mike is trying to stay awake.
I want to see if anybody wants to sub in for me. Todd, Ed, Becky, anybody guys want to sub in for me? Do my picks.
No.
Hey,
but
Russ,
you
I
know
didn't hear what you
They're-
what you picked
the
there.
Highest the highest percentage of upset is usually in the 5-12 round.
All right. So
Oh, really?
You're taking
Yes.
Chattanooga.
No, not this time.
But,
Gutless Pop.
well, then who are you taking again? I couldn't quite hear you.
I took Indiana.
Next up
Oh,
is
nice. Thanks.
Next up is Kentucky versus Stony Brook. Isn't that from the ABC show Once Upon a Time, Stony Brook?
Oh, wasn't aware of that.
It's actually Story
I'm
Brook.
taking Kentucky.
Kentucky.
I'm taking Kentucky.
And next is Notre Dame versus the winner of the Michigan-Tulsa game. I'm taking Michigan because I think Michigan wins this game. I don't know if they won today or not, but I'm taking Michigan.
They play tomorrow.
Play tomorrow, so I took Michigan.
I took Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Matt?
I'm picking Notre Dame. Gotta pick those. Hoosier
West
States.
Virginia versus Stephen F. Austin. I'm taking West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah, West Virginia.
Wisconsin Pitt. I'm taking the underdog Pitt.
I'm taking
Nice.
Wisconsin.
And Matt?
I'm taking Wisconsin as well.
Okay. Xavier Weber State. I'm taking Xavier.
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 Next
Apparently,
up,
the 10 and 11 seeds have the most potential for upset. So
Yeah, those are
that
pretty
was
easy.
some stat that I was reading.
UNC versus Providence. I have UNC.
Yeah, I have UNC
I have the same
as well.
Okay. Indiana versus Kentucky. I have Indiana. Bye, Kentucky. Bye. You lose.
I have Kentucky.
No. Sorry.
Jack swayed me. I'm picking Indiana.
I'm calling it.
It's like,
I'm calling my shot.
yeah,
Kentucky loses this game.
hope they do.
Michigan or Tulsa versus West Virginia. West Virginia. Their defense is just too tough.
I have West Virginia over Notre Dame.
Okay.
I also have West Virginia over Notre Dame.
Pitt versus Xavier. I have Xavier.
I have Xavier I have Wisconsin beating Xavier.
Really?
Oh, going with the Wisconsin upset there. Yeah, I have Professor Xavier winning this game as well.
Okay. Let's see. UNC versus Indiana. UNC.
I have UNC playing Kentucky, and I have Kentucky with the upset.
Wow.
Kentucky's on a roll right now.
They're not even getting that far, Russ. They're not even getting that far.
Kentucky's on a roll. They won the SEC.
They're rolling, but they're rolling the wrong way. West Virginia versus Xavier. I have West Virginia.
I have West Virginia over Wisconsin.
Matt?
I have Xavier over West Virginia, and in the last one, I also had UNC beating either Indiana or Kentucky
In the Final Four? I have West Virginia going to the Final Four.
I have West Virginia beating Kentucky to go to the Final Four.
All right.
I had Xavier as my Final Four. I know it's
We're in the West now. See how fast this is going, Mike?
Amazingly fast.
Oregon versus HC Southern. It's either HC or Southern. I don't even know who those schools are. They're not going to win. Oregon wins this one.
Oregon. I don't think any.
Oregon.
I don't think any of those one seed will lose.
No. St. Joe's
think
versus
so either.
Cincinnati. I have Cincinnati because last year I'm not a big believer in St. Joe's. So.
Yeah, I'm going Cincinnati as well.
You're going St. Joe's.
All right.
Yeah.
St. Joe's. What do you know?
Baylor versus Yale. I'm going with Yale. I'm going with the upset.
Going with Baylor.
The Yaler. I'm going Baylor over the Yaler.
Duke versus UNC Wilmington. I'd love to see UNC Wilmington win, but I think Duke wins this one.
I would love to see anybody beat Duke, but I have to pick them.
Texas versus Northern Iowa. I have Texas.
I have Northern Iowa with the upset.
Really?
I
Nice.
have watched Texas this season quite a bit.
They have long horns.
Well,
Texas.
yeah, being in the Big 12.
Doesn't sway at all. The Longhorns could block the shot.
Sorry to all you Texas fans, but it'll be over.
All right, I'm picking Texas as well.
Okay. Next up is Texas A&M versus Green Bay. I don't see the Packs doing it, so I'm going to take Texas A&M.
Agreed.
Since Aaron Rodgers isn't playing, I'm going to take Texas A&M.
He's too busy with
I
Olivia.
don't think he's got a weird body for it.
Yeah. Oregon State versus VCU. I'm going with VCU.
VCU.
VCU, why? Because we like you.
Oklahoma versus CSU Bakersfield. Come on, really? I'm going with Oklahoma. Again, not to criticize CSU Bakersfield, but come on. Oklahoma.
To quote Steve Martin, one of his great performances, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Oklahoma. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
I got it. Clean sweep.
Yep.
Oregon versus Cincinnati. I'm going with Oregon beating Cincinnati.
I have Baylor playing Oregon, and I have Baylor upsetting Oregon.
Okay.
Oh, I think you're one bracket further down.
No, he's all right.
How can Baylor get there? Baylor plays. Okay, well, I'm picking Oregon over Cincinnati.
I think you're right. You are right.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so I had Oregon beating.
You had them against St.
and
Joe's,
I had
right?
Baylor beating Duke.
Okay. I have Yale beating Duke.
Wow.
Yeah,
Anybody to beat Duke? I still have Duke leading on into this, and then I have them going up to play Oregon there. So.
Next up, Texas versus Texas A&M. I have the Aggies beating the Longhorns.
I have A&M beating UNI, and I have Oklahoma beating VCU.
I have Oklahoma also beating VCU.
That's exactly what I have.
Next up, Oregon versus Yale. The Cinderella story comes to an end, and Oregon beats Yale.
I have Baylor. I told before I have Baylor beating Oregon, and I have Oklahoma beating Texas A&M.
So you have Oklahoma in the Final Four.
I have Oklahoma then beating Baylor in the Final Four. Correct.
Okay, I have Oklahoma in the Final Four. I have Oklahoma beating Texas A&M.
All right, I have Oregon versus Duke with Oregon winning, and then Texas A&M beating Oklahoma, and then Oregon beating. So we really differed on this one.
Yeah. So this is separating the men from the boys.
So I have two number ones going up against each other. Oh, the men from the boys, eh?
Yeah. Midwest, University of Virginia versus Hampton. Come on. UVA wins this one. Anybody else we're not differing from?
Yep, UVA.
No, but I will say this. Out of all the 16 seeds to play number one, I will say that the Hampton-Virginia game is going to be the closest out of all of them.
I say UVA wins by 20 points.
Well, but all the others will probably be blowouts. But I'm just saying this game's going to be closer. Hampton is better than what these other 16 seeds are.
All right, I'll back you up on that one. No, I won't. Texas Tech versus Butler. I have Butler.
Go Butler.
Butler.
Purdue.
But they're not going to make it.
Purdue, Arkansas, Little Rock. I'm going with Purdue.
I'm taking the upset, number 12, Arkansas, Little Rock.
They did beat San Diego State at home.
Yep, Arkansas, Little Rock. Whoop whoop.
Iowa versus Iona. I'm taking Iowa State.
Yep,
I'm taking Iowa State as well.
Taking the Cyclones.
Seton Hall versus Gonzaga. I gotta go with Gonzaga. I don't know how they do it year after year after year, but they always seem to be.
Gotta go with the Zags.
Yeah. Utah versus.
I am also too going with Gonzaga there too. Yeah.
Utah versus Fresno State. The only Mountain West Conference team in there is Fresno State. Heck with them. I'm going with Utah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Utes.
Yep.
Dayton versus Syracuse. I'm going with Dayton. Why not?
Going with Syracuse. To beat
Dayton.
I'm
taking Dayton.
Michigan State Spartans versus Middle Tennessee. I'm going with the Spartans.
Spartans, man. That's
okay. And the next round, I'll speed this up. I'm going to UVA, Iowa State, Utah, and Michigan State.
Okay. I'm going with UVA, Purdue, Gonzaga, and then Michigan State winning out in that next bracket.
I'm going with UVA, Iowa State, Gonzaga, and Michigan State.
Okay. And in the next round, I'm going UVA, Utah, with Utah going to the Final Four.
Huh. Okay. It's wild.
Sometimes you got to take a chance.
Kind of thing.
I've got UVA and Michigan State winning, and I've got Michigan State going to the Final Four.
Okay.
That is exactly what I have, Russell.
And in the finals, the national championship game, Houston, Texas, April 4th.
Who's in your Final Four, Mike?
You have Final Four pick, Mike?
You have all number 1 seeds.
Wait, what teams are you talking about? I'm gonna go with Denver Broncos over Patriots.
I don't think
Seattle Supersonics. Seattle Seahawks over
Seattle Supersonics. There's a blast.
Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
Okay. It's an interesting game there.
Yeah.
In my final two, I have Kansas beating Oklahoma, and I have Michigan State beating West Virginia.
Okay, but who's your finals?
Well, my final is Kansas against Michigan State.
I have Kansas versus Oklahoma, West Virginia versus Utah. My finals is Oklahoma versus Utah, and I have Utah winning it 73-72. Utah wins their first national championship in an upset over Oklahoma. There, called it. Boom.
I have Kansas beating Michigan State, and Bill Self wins his second national title.
Bill Self, the cheater.
All right. I've got Kansas versus Oregon. Oregon beating Kansas. And I have Xavier versus Michigan State. Michigan State winning. So I have 2 green teams in the end here. It's never been done before.
2 green games?
But a little luck of 2 green teams. It's a technical thing.
Okay. You've
yeah.
gone green.
With Michigan State winning 78-73. 5-point difference there.
Now,
That
anyone
is
listening, you'll
sticking to
know by the first day is Thursday. My bracket will be broken by Thursday. I guarantee it. There'll be some upset where I have a team going to the Final Four, and I guarantee you they'll lose. I guarantee one of the Final Four teams I have will lose.
Ed wants to know if we're going to pick the women's bracket next.
Women's bracket, I've already picked it, and I'll put those picks aside.
We're saving that for next week?
We'll save that for next week.
We did that on The Walking Dead tonight. So if you really want to tune into our women picks, check out our Walking Dead episode.
We're pretty pro women on The Walking Dead today.
We are, yeah.
We were all about the chicks.
Especially if your name starts with Carol.
And ends with Paula.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Anybody got anything else they want to add?
I know Mike has got like a 5-minute long speech about San Diego.
And this.
No? Okay.
I need to pack.
We should. What time's your flight?
Tomorrow 4.
4 a.m.?
In the afternoon?
I'm going to work.
Oh,
But it's
you
fucking...
gotta work tomorrow.
Wait. That's almost cursed. 12:45 right now, a.m. I do need to go to sleep sometime tonight.
So we're gonna actually keep podcasting because Mike is squirming here so bad.
Yeah, Mike wants to leave, so we'll keep talking. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll just check out like I did for the last 20 minutes. I'll pull it down again.
But if you like this podcast and other podcasts like it, like the Married Man Show, which was back today with Chris in Boston, had a nice conversation with Chris in Boston. Leftovers, Lost Podcast, The Walking Dead with 3 Stupid Guys. Sports Talk is back today. Hopefully back in a couple weeks. Several other podcasts, the whole enchilada feed. You can go to Patreon/Jay and Jack, help us out there. And at this time, I'd like to thank 3 special people. Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Richter Gladfelter, and Brad from Chicago. Thanks for doing what you do. And that's it. That's all I got. Thanks for everybody in the chat. We have 5 viewers in the chat. I can't see it because I have 2 computers. I can't see who's in the chat. But you guys can thank us.
But yeah, thanks for always joining us in the chat. We appreciate it. It's amazing how many people show up for the sports, right? And not for the
since you can't read chat, Jack, Ed wrote, Russ's picture reminds me of what Aaron Andrews saw in the peephole.
That's so wrong, but that's so funny. Oh my God.
So if you want to check out our live show, you can actually check out our YouTube video segments.
That is just terrible.
See what Russ looks like. Maybe I'll change his picture again next week.
That is so terrible.
So, little teaser. Mike's got a flight to catch. You know, he's blowing it up South by Southwest style. Follow him on Instagram if you can find him.
MC954. Forget Twitter. Forget all that stuff. Instagram, MC954.
Oh, and just to let
Yeah.
you know, my wife and I are doing Dancing with the Stars starting next Monday because I'm such a big fan of dancing. And Aaron Andrews. So there you go. And I did. Well, we didn't talk about Aaron. We didn't talk about Aaron Andrews. My wife and I talked about it on The Amazing Race. I thought she deserved every penny she got from the lawsuit, if not more.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. Some people said, "Oh, it just helped her career." She didn't. I go, no, that was just looking at a picture. If you look to a people and saw that guy on the other side, say Russ, that was just invasion of privacy. It was just wrong. So anyway, that's all.
Well, we will be back for another sports talk to at least kind of announce the winner of the NCAA bracket
The big
challenge.
$20 prize.
$20
Big
prize.
$20 prize. Don't spend
Then
it all
we'll
in
be
one
back in
place.
the trap. I might have someone on who's knows something about fantasy baseball. Maybe we can have some fantasy baseball talk coming up here. And that's all I got. So that's this time.
All right.
Hasta luego and goodbye. Matt.
Great show, kids. 1 in a million.
See you next week.
See you guys. Be safe on your trip, Mike.
Yes, sir.
May all your picks come true. If you,
Favorites.
I'm picking
if you happen to, make it to the Midwest at all, give our regards, especially for Matt.
I'm picking the favorite.
It's just a call-out sign. You're just supposed to have your call-out. Russ, this is your homework for next week.
He's doing part 2 of the show.
I'm picking the favorite.
What's a Twitter?
How do I follow someone on Twitter? Anyway. All right, guys.
All right.
We're in this thing.
I've got one. May all your cheeseburgers taste good.
Be well done.
Yeah, that's great. All right.
Namaste.